It's time for another market update, and Bitcoin is at 109,000. And let me just say, this cycle has been a difficult and testing cycle. I think it's the one that has required the most patience out of the last two cycles I've been through. This one is just really slow and doesn't really like to give us those parabolic moves, but I don't think that is the case for long. I do think we're going to get the parabolic blow off top move towards the end of this cycle, which is going to introduce a whole lot of liquidity towards the altcoins. It just so happens that the altcoins tend to move last during the end, most aggressively during the end of the cycle. In the last cycle, it was a little bit different where we had sprouts of altcoins moving and heading to new highs. And I can say we've had a little bit of that here. We have Hype doing something like that. It did so at the beginning of the year. You can look at that at March first quarter, and it gave us a huge move. We have Plasma, we have Aster, we have a bunch of coins just popping off here and there randomly, but I'm talking about market-wide pumps happen towards the end of the cycle, and I'm still looking forward to that. I don't think that's over. I think it's just testing our patience, and the thing is, we've gotten so far into the cycle that we're closer to that happening than we aren't. And because we've got the whole world pumping, essentially, we've got gold, we've got silver, we've got the stock market, we've got a bunch of markets just pumping towards the upside and giving crypto a run for its money. You know, the reason people come into crypto in the first place is because they're looking for asymmetrical bets with a lot of risk. And so far, crypto has kind of disappointed. Yeah, we had meme coins showing us astronomical gains, but it was hard to navigate if you haven't been in crypto previously to know what to buy, to know where your information is coming from, what's good, what's not, looking at patterns, all that good stuff. It's not easy to navigate for a first timer. So we're talking about looking for easy mode where pretty much everyone's a genius and everything pumps. That's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about that season that comes only for a couple of months and almost half a decade. We're looking for that moment to come pretty soon. Again, Bitcoin dominance did pump a little bit, which sent the altcoins towards the downside, but that's fine. We did anticipate a pump coming. I did think that it wasn't going to come on this dip. I thought we were simply going to drop down to 52, but that wasn't the case. We're getting a pullback. How high it goes, probably retest this trend line. That's what I would imagine. That's usually what price action does. It likes to retest prior support and then either reject off or break towards the upside. So the only thing I'm thinking right now is, are we going to pull off this ugly move that we had last time? You guys can see the last time Bitcoin dominance came down to about 57% right there. What happened? We had Bitcoin dominance pump all the way to 72, 73%. There is potential for that to happen, and I don't want to see it because it delays alt season by a little bit. Just because we pump up there doesn't mean we're not going to have alt season. It just means there's a bit more pain for alts as money flows into Bitcoin before it comes back into the altcoin. So right now we're looking at two scenarios, and the fork in the road is going to be this trend line. So about 62%. And if we happen to hit that and we have Bitcoin topping and then altcoins get a chance to run, at least we'll know that the Bitcoin top was most likely in wherever price hits when it tops over there. So if it hits 150, 160, 170, there's potential that that was the top. And then we're looking for a crash like we usually do, about, 60, 70% from the top to the bottom, which would take us somewhere in the, I'd imagine, 50 to 6K range for Bitcoin. So right now, what we're looking for in the BTC dominance is a breakdown. And right now, we're not really getting a breakdown. So far, we have a little bit of sideways action. What we want to see is us break down. So we're probably going to get a little bit of a bear flag move here. So I would imagine an ABC, ABC, move up, or this is going to be a bigger move towards the upside to 72%. So we'll have to wait and see. We have a couple of scenarios, but we're still looking for that breakdown, take us down to about 52 from 56. So that'll be a pretty nice run. Let's say we break from 62, it takes us all the way down to 52, and that's a 17% drop in Bitcoin dominance. Would love to see that. I would imagine the large caps and medium caps would capture a share of those. Altcoins on the lower end would also gain some liquidity as people risk on appetite comes online. But as of right now, a lot of the sectors are selling off. AI has taken a hit. We broke down out of this pattern, didn't look too good. Next stop is about $40 billion. So I'd imagine we retest that 40 billion, maybe even 39, 38 down here where we tested last time. So we're looking for AI to do a reset, and that means a lot of the AI majors are also doing a bit of a reset, going to liquidity zones. You can see Tau breaking down here. I don't imagine this is going to hold now. We're probably going to head down to about 260, which is going to be a value add right there. I still do think these areas right here are good buys for the future. It's just that you're going to have to weather a bit of storm. If you were trading this, then obviously this would have been the stop loss down here if we broke the bottom. But if you're just a holder, then eventually this is probably going to rock towards the upside as AI sector pumps up. But Tau is very heavily correlated to the AI sector simply because it holds such a large weight. It is the leader in AI. And currently looking to come down to this liquidity zone down about 250, 260. So that's what we're looking at there. If we go over to DeFi, which is heavily correlated with Ethereum, I want to go over Ethereum first, actually. Let's take a look at ETH. I had this area marked out for many, many weeks, and finally got down to about 3,800. There is a potential to come down to 36 to complete the liquidity, come down all the way there, and then we'll see people calling for the end of the cycle. And the one thing I like about this so far is that a lot of people are calling the top. There's a ton of people saying that the cycle is over, the cycle's over, the cycle's over. This is great. I've always said this. As long as people keep saying that with every new high, I think we have higher to go. The market isn't going to give all these people on CT the badge of being right, the herd being right, the consensus being right. I think a lot of people have a lot of PTSD when it comes to the markets and are expecting this market to roll over. That is a potential. It is a possibility. But just based on what I'm seeing, all these movements that we're seeing in price right now are triggering people. I'm talking about 10%, 5% movements is getting people very anxious. And that's okay. We want to see that because it means most of the market is sidelined or they're shorting. Either way, the market will rip higher because of it. Ethereum, we're still looking for a dip down to about 3,700 right there for completion of this liquidity grab. Of course, if we break this downward trend line right there, then obviously the momentum shifts towards the upside and we could attempt to break 5K again. That'll be nice to see. If we take a look at total DeFi, it's looking for a retest, I imagine, because we broke structure with the recent liquidation, probably heading lower. If we just pull out our fibs, we can get an idea of how low are we gonna go. So probably around the 114 and maybe 107 at the very low end. So we're still looking for a deeper pullback on DeFi, it seems. I think this is going to be following Ethereum for the most part. So we're looking for a deeper pullback, I would imagine. If I had to guess, put my money on it, of where the next great zone to bid is around this area right there. So between 108 and 114, that'll be the good DeFi zone bid. And then we take a look at memes, and memes have retraced. Again, they look to be ranging. So I'm going to go ahead and redo this zone because you can see a little bit clearly that we have a bit of a range, and the range is right there. You can see that. So this is good. I like to see this. Again, deviations below the range, completely normal. So if we do see a dip down here to about 55, 50 billion, that's fine as long as we show some strength right after, a few days afterwards, something like this, and move towards the upside. That'll actually be really, really bullish to see that reclaiming movement back into the range after we deviate towards the downside. The deviation happens because of liquidations. People are simply long leverage to the upside, so the market likes to wipe them out, take them out before we move towards the upside and do the real move. Now, another coin I want to take a look at here is Litecoin, because Litecoin, I think, is going to be pulling off a massive and easy move, easy to catch with size. It looks like we do need to go a little bit lower to call it $94 potentially right there. So we have 98 and possibly even 90 down there. And the good thing about Litecoin is that it's been ranging for the longest time. And the bigger the range, the bigger the blast. And I think it's an easy one to capture with size. So yes, I do trade a lot of micro caps, but at the same time, these are easy, just patient trades to take on the other end of the market. So this one is going to be a patience game. Eventually it will pop. And when it pops, I think it pops higher than the all-time high created back here in 2021. It's easily done with size. You can easily put in 6 figures into this and expect multiples to come out of this and take us to potentially $1,000 up there at the 1.618. So that's what we're looking at for the most part. Market's still in sleep mode. It might come online at the end of the month as it tends to do. Volatility has been low for the month of September, apart from a few liquidations here and there. But I am expecting the volatility to return in Q4, as October is one of the best months out of the year, along with November being the best month out of the year. So we have the best time of the year coming up. And this is no time to sleep on the market or be afraid. I think this is the time to actually take advantage of what's to come with volatility and price action poised to move towards the upside. So this is the market update. Just requires a little bit more patience, and then we'll see higher prices. Hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you guys again next time.